Whoa. Hey kid, wanna learn about the rabbis?
I don't know.
Well, back in my day, they had no power at all. Here, come here. Oh.
What is this?
This is science.
And you will honor your parents. Oh, damn, the tablet.
Is that Moses?
Oh, Schnitzel, we went too far. Come on. Whoa, here we are. The Second Commonwealth. The Second Commonwealth started when Jews were allowed to return back to their homeland because King Cyrus the Great, as well as the restoration of the temple. Ezra and Nehemiah led waves of people back to the homeland, taught Torah, fortified and repopulated Jerusalem, religious reforms, and eliminating debt.
Oh, Ezra was a qualified leader as he related back to Aaron and was a scribe for the people. His main job was to interpret the laws. He was sort of the first form of a rabbi.
Look at the camera.
Because rabbis also create and interpret laws.
Hey Ezra, what makes you so special?
I'm the chosen one. And it is my responsibility to interpret the laws because I come from the great mighty Aaron. I teach the laws rather than focus on sacrifices. And I have led hundreds of people back to the land of Israel from the Babylonian exile.
That's great. Okay, let's skip ahead a little bit. In 333 BCE, Jerusalem spread into the Hellenistic period. This was a time where Alexander the Great conquered Persia and spread his culture. It was an important time in Jewish history because Tanakh was starting to be created, which the rabbis used to base their Jewish laws off of. A few hundred years later, the Romans took over after conquering the Greeks, and the man, the myth, the legend, Herod the Great, was in charge of governing the Jews.
So, Herod, who are you?
I'm the great big king. Excuse me. All these pagan cities are mine. The temples are mine. The temple I fixed. I built fortresses, Metzada. And guess what? I don't pay for it, you do. You don't like me? I'll kill you and your family and your wife and your children and your grandparents and your cousin, your first cousin, your second cousin, your third cousin. I kill the Jews who think they are stronger than me all the time.
Okay then.
Just a quick reminder, the rabbis had no power at this time. In other news, the Roman government, it turned from kings to governors, ruling the Jews called the procurators. The Jews did not like Roman society as there were economic problems and unrest within the Jewish community. The Roman leaders were corrupt and unfit to lead, so they caused the Great Revolt in 66 CE.
You know what? We're done. Let's go. We're gonna revolt. Elijah, we're our money back.
Alright, now we're going a little bit further into the future. Here we are, the Roman period. Now, this is a pretty tragic time for the Jews. It was right after the Great Revolt, where the Jews lost self-autonomy, and now they were heavily taxed by the Romans. And these taxes, they went to rebuilding Roman society.
That can't be true.
But look at those Jews over there. They're paying the Romans.
Take all my money. Please. Take all my money.
They also took the Jews' properties and resold it to original Roman owners. There's Josephus, and he's writing about it right now.
They're taking Jews' property.
There's a bunch of stories about how Judaism survived through these years. For example, Yonachan ben Zakkai had claimed to hit in a coffin negotiating with Roman leaders. But that was probably a bunch of baloney. I mean, look at him.
These fools. There's so many stories about people escaping in coffins, and they really believed me? I can't believe it.
Wow, I never knew he was like that. He used to be my idol.
I know, right? What a phony. Oh boy, here comes those gloomy, emo Jews who mope about the destruction of the temple. So many Jews felt lost after the destruction of the temple because Judaism underwent such a large change.
Those poor innocent Jews.
Oh no, here comes the real emos of the time, the ascetics. These people were devastated by the destruction. They thought there was no point in living after the temple was destroyed. I mean, look at them.
Tonight will be the night I will fall for you.
Why are you guys not eating meat?
Because the temple is gone. So we can't eat what we used to sacrifice.
Okay, then let's not eat meat, but what about wine?
No, it was poured out for sacrifices.
No wine? Are you crazy? Guess what we used to give away? Bread too. Are you guys not gonna eat bread anymore? Matter of fact, let's just not eat anything anymore.
Joshua wants his wine.
For real. Whoa, look over there. It's the talking note. These guys that helped Judaism so much. They made laws to help Jews practice without a temple.
Who's fighting over there?
Oh, those are some Jews and Christians. After Jesus prophesied the temple would be destroyed, a bunch of Jews bandwagoned Christianity.
Wow, these Jews ain't loyal.
Liam, look! The early version of the rabbis. They're called the Tanaim. They lived in cities, and they were upper class. They were usually landowners, and all the Jews worked for them. They were kind of stuck up, though, because of the economic divide. Most Jews didn't like them that much. I mean, look at them now.
Hey you, come here. My hands are greasy and I need a napkin. Give me your hair to wipe my hands. Oh, looky here. A Jewish peasant needs me to officiate a document. What is it now?
I need a marriage license, please.
Ha 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 ha. Of course you do. How adorable. I'm in a good mood today, so why not?
Thank you.
What did you just call me?
Nothing, sir.
That's it. No more marriage license, and you have to work overtime on the farm.
No, please don't make me work anymore.
Too late.
What a Jew.
I know, right? And here we are.
What do you mean?
It's Rabbi Yehuda Hanasi.
Who?
Remember those Tanaim I mentioned before?
Yeah?
Well, now they shifted into Amoraim. All thanks to Rabbi Yehuda Hanasi, these Amoraim were now known as rabbis.
Really? This guy's so cool.
Yep, he even compiled the Mishnah.
Wow, that's insane.
That's not even the most impressive thing he's done. He established a great relationship with the Romans, he paid the rabbis to make it more accessible to the people in lower classes, and he localized rabbis into communities and established yeshivas.
That's amazing, but how do the people feel about these changes?
They love them. If we were to look at the percent of things people asked for the new rabbis for, they went to them so much more often for all these daily issues. It's something that just wasn't there before with the old rabbis.
These Nasias are really cool.
Tell me about it. The Nasi, they were kind of like judges for religious and civil laws, but the Jews, they still had to follow the Romans.
Well, what about the rabbis?
The rabbis, they influenced Judaism in religious ways, but the Jews didn't have to follow them. For example, the Hamat Tiberias synagogue in the 4th century disobeyed the rabbis' laws about not being allowed to put pictures and artwork in the shul. But the Rehoboth synagogue between the 5th and 7th century listened and respected the rabbis so much so that they kept a list of rabbinical rulings on the wall.
Wow, this period is so neat.
This period is definitely the first major shift towards rabbinic Judaism, but now it's time for us to move on.
Can we please stay 5 more minutes, please?
No! Alright, let's go. Now, over here, Rome has now fallen, and guess what rose? Islam.
Praise Allah.
Allah, that's right. That's the God that the Jews, Christians, and Muslims all believed in when they lived in harmony together. The issue was, once the Muslims tried to force the Jews and Christians to believe in Muhammad the Prophet, and they didn't want to, the Muslims were not having it, and they took over.
All because you didn't believe in a prophet?
Yep. Now it's time for a rundown of the whole lore.
Oh no.
So basically, there's something called the Pact of Umar. This was pretty much the rules that all the dhimmi had to follow.
What the heck is a dhimmi?
Dhimmis are the people that still believed in one God, but they weren't Muslim. For example, they were like Christians or Jews. They were like second-class citizens in society. They had to follow the Pact of Umar and pay a jizya, which fell under the Pact of Umar. In the Pact of Umar, it basically said laws where they had to make themselves lower than Muslims. They couldn't have buildings as high. They couldn't pray as loud. They had to know that they were inferior to Muslims.
That's so unfair.
Well, it wasn't all that bad, because even though they had to pay these taxes and be lower, they were still allowed to practice religions. And even though they had to pay a tax, if you couldn't afford to pay as much as a rich person, they would have a more fair and balanced tax for you.
Well, I guess they're not that bad.
In the end, some Jews even converted to Islam. Some Jews sustained their identity even though they were being oppressed, though. In the Umayyad Caliphate, the system of government was as follows.
Oh, I know, the Caliph, then the Minister of Finance, the man of integrity, and then the appointed assistants, and then the religious leaders that were in charge of the everyday Jews. The religious leaders had some power, but they were mainly restricted by their superiors. They could not enforce Jewish law to Muslims or Jews, but all that changed with the Abbasid Caliphate.
That's right. Now that we're done with the weak Umayyad Caliphate, here we come to the Abbasid Caliphate, where rabbinic authority really took off. The Abbasid Caliphate started in 750 when the Umayyad Caliphate fell. The new ruler moved the capital of the Caliph from Damascus to Baghdad. This was crucial because it allowed the rabbinic authority of the Gaonim to spread their authority throughout the Caliphate. The Abbasid Caliphate allowed for the Jews to be more politically autonomous, and the Jews had an exilarch who was a non-religious head of the Jewish people.
The egg Sarlacc pit?
No, the exilarch. He was in charge of collecting the jizya and to give to the Caliph. He was responsible for the enforcement of the Pact of Umar and the Jewish legal system, and was in charge of the National Fund. He had to ban, imprison, and fine people for not following the law.
Oh, I remember this from Rav Simon's class. Below the exilarch was the Gaon, who was the head of the Rabbinic Academy. He had the highest authority of Jewish law. He was the head of the academy and a judge. He administered courts and appointed judges. The Gaonim wrote laws, codes, and commentaries so people can learn the laws across the empire. For once, the Jewish leaders had actual power and could enforce the Jewish law, as well as influence for rabbinic Judaism to spread all over the caliphate.
Yep, just like that. There was even a group called the Karaites, and they tried to beat the Gaonim, but the Gaonim, they shut them down.
Oh, the Gaonim sent their laws through responsa literature. This form of literature allowed for people in lower courts from other towns and villages to ask rabbinic questions, which went to Baghdad. The Gaonim answered these questions and sent their answers through a mail-like system throughout the caliphate. A famous responsa that was sent to one community's question was called the Seder Rav Amram Gaon, and it was a responsa sent to the community of Barcelona in response to a question asking how to pray. The Seder itself was a text of the prayers for the entire year, as well as laws and customs. The prayer traditions of the Babylonian rabbinic Jews became the prayer norm traditions because they were the oldest preserved complete prayer book.
That's exactly right. Another reform how rabbinic authority spread was by the Kala. This was a teachers' convention almost for all of the rabbis to come together and discuss laws. There was a public discussion, scribes to write down their questions and solutions, and it would allow for new innovation and new ideas to spread throughout the entire caliphate. I'm kind of tired. I think we should just go home.
Wait, but you never answered the question on how, when, and why did the rabbis and their Judaism come to dominate Jewish civilization?
Yes. Now to wrap things up. The rabbis and their Judaism came to dominate Jewish civilization mainly because of the Abbasid Caliphate. Under the Umayyad Caliphate, after the Umayyad Caliphate was taken over, the capital of the Abbasid Caliphate was moved to Baghdad, which was crucial because this was where the rabbis from the Umayyad Caliphate resided. Now, there was a bunch of other factors that also led to the takeover of rabbinic authority, such as responsa literature, the Kala meetings, and just the Gaonim's authority in general. Overall, without the Abbasid Caliphate, rabbinic authority would have never become what it is today. Let's play Bacardi.
Everyone follow at Tri-State Steals on Instagram. Don't forget, at Tri-State Steals. Remember the name.